It's getting hot outside, mostly from all the grills firing up. I'm only going to slightly disagree, though, because we're in the middle of a heat wave here in Tennessee. But the summer grilling is upon us, and if you're looking for the perfect cuts to put on the grill this year, look no further. Good Ranchers is the place to get American beef, chicken, and seafood this summer. They sell 100% American meat and ship it straight to your door. And right now, they're giving away 2 free 18-ounce prime center cut ribeyes to every person that uses my code, Doing Great. Yes, that's over 2 pounds of prime ribeye steaks just added to your order at no cost to you. You're absolutely welcome. With Father's Day coming up, that's going to be tomorrow. Summer events and holidays on the horizon. This is the perfect time to try a box of Good Ranchers. All the dads need these ribeyes. You can make a one-time purchase, or you can subscribe and save $25 on every box. Plus, as I alluded to earlier, you'll get 2 free 18-ounce boneless ribeyes. I mean, these things are so good. They're incredibly tasty. They're steakhouse quality. Good Ranchers is just giving them to you for free when you go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat. This is not the time to wait. Claim your ribeyes today before they run out. Yes, this is a limited stock item. First come, first serve, and you want to be first when it comes to Good Ranchers. They deliver the best of American farms and ranches to your door. Make sure you take time today, right now. Go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat or use my code doinggreat at checkout to get your 2 free 18-ounce ribeyes. No, seriously, do it now. We'll wait. We'll wait to start your show for you guys. Start the summer off right with Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. How was your flight?
Well, it was a great flight. So good. I did Delta, Yeah. Delta, and they didn't do the vaccine thing, so I always fly Delta. And great patriotic captain came on. He said, "God bless America." We did the Pledge of Allegiance. We stood up, and it was a great flight. So
I got to tell you, I eventually got it. I got it, but I didn't want to wear the mask. I said, I'm not going to do it.
Well, you sold out. You sold out. You let your people down.
I believe it was somewhat of a
we call it a pussy, right? We can just say that. Can we say that on this? Can we say that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you are permitted to say that.
Okay, are we done?
I don't know. Are you?
Yeah. Guys, wait, do you like Ty or Tyler?
Whatever, dealer's choice, baby.
Fischer or Fisch?
Fischer.
Okay, because I don't want to go by the Instagram name. I want to Tyler.
Fisch works too, yeah.
Okay, well, Tyler Fischer, welcome him to the show.
Yay.
You're our 40th episode. Do you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Why would you?
It's a good number.
Yeah. Welcome to Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Well, you just hear Nashville. No one ever says the full thing. So
Right.
I don't think I realized I was in Tennessee.
Well, you're outside of
in
Nashville.
Nashville.
We're not going to get specific as to where, but you're outside of Nashville.
Technically. They do say that Nashville is not real Tennessee, though.
Really?
I have heard that. So maybe it is more accurate to say welcome to
Williamsburg
Nashville.
real New York? I mean, South Williamsburg maybe, but...
You guys are blowing my mind already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah. And you live in New York.
I do live in New York. I live in Brooklyn.
Yeah. How do you like it up there?
Well, no, I'm doing Jordan. Well, it's, it's a shithole. It's changed so much since I've lived there.
How long have you lived there?
13 years.
Okay.
I've been in the same house for about 13 years.
Wait,
Wow.
the same place?
Yeah. I ran an Airbnb in my house for about 9 years.
What?
It's a 5-bedroom house that I don't own. I rent it.
Yeah, but still.
And my landlord lives below me, and we managed to hide it from her for like 9 years. Somehow.
Oh, you said her, so not Hasidic.
Not Hasidic.
Oh, weird.
No, it's a person of color.
Okay.
They have houses too. Did you know that?
Not in Brooklyn.
But they don't have IDs.
They don't have IDs.
Right.
No, she didn't have an ID.
Houses,
I
but
used to
no
get,
IDs.
Mike, you're late on the rent. Where's the rent? You have to pay the rent. I'd be like, listen, Abraham, just give me like a week. No, this is like 2 months now. We do this.
Yeah.
Just give me the rent, okay?
Sounds like my therapist. I have I almost said an orthotic Jew. No, what are they called?
You have an orthopedist.
What are they called?
Or the Orthodox Jews?
Orthodox, yeah.
Not Hasidic. Okay, not Hasidic.
He does
Orthodox.
have issues with his arches, but he's not an orthodox Jew.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we have an actor in the room. We have someone who participates in American cinema. And
Kongman
we'll talk
was an actor.
Who?
Kongman is an actor.
Is he?
Yeah. I mean, not at the level that Tyler is, but
He worked on the film.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He did like the social media behind the scenes stuff.
Oh wait, did he really?
Yeah, we were like pen pals on the internet, and then we got there, and we're like, "Whoa, you're here!
What are you doing here?
Yeah,
Really? Oh, that.
There's
I didn't know
a
that.
lot of people in the cast. We had all been kind of chatting online. And
interesting.
Nick Searcy, we were Twitter buddies.
So it wasn't a toxic work environment?
It was not a toxic.
Oh, well, then there's
there
the
were
whole
guns.
show.
There were.
Now here's a question. Here's a question, because I know a lot of movies are going this way now, and I always hate it when I see it, because when I see it, I'm just like, guys, just use blanks, get an armor in there, just like make it look real. Did you guys did you notice when you saw the movie, but were you guys using blanks and real guns, or were they using prop guns and like
No, it was all real.
CGI? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, a little too real.
Yeah.
And then Alec Baldwin. I don't know if you heard.
Were you guys filming when that
happened?
happened?
About that?
Yeah, you can talk about that.
Yeah, we were filming when it happened. We were in a scene where we were all on horses, just like circling around this guy shooting guns and stuff, and they stopped us and they told us, and I was like, oh.
What was the atmosphere like after that for at least the next couple of days?
I was really scared, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, maybe, I mean, it was a safe set, but you're like, anything can go wrong. And unless you're checking it every time.
Yeah. So what's the protocol when they hand you a prop gun on set? I mean,
protocol, you throw it in the air, you make a TikTok. You're supposed to, they open the chamber and they are supposed to, the armorer is supposed to show you it's empty.
Okay.
And then you kind of confirm, yes, I saw that it was empty.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But what about in scenes where you are firing off a round? Like what happens with them? Are they like, hey, I'm putting a blank in it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was still scary though. I've never shot a gun before that.
Really? Did you do any practicing, any training to kind of get you a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, I've been living in Brooklyn, New York for 13 years. That was the training.
Yeah.
It is the Wild West there right now. There's murders in my neighborhood.
You don't have to get specific about your neighborhood, but
yeah.
I can probably
Flatbush.
Oh, Flatbush? Okay, yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Murders, armed robberies, like it's getting bad. So I was prepared to do this Western.
Yeah, well, it's not like you can even have a gun in Brooklyn anyway.
I mean,
well,
you know.
You can.
They're finding them.
Well,
yeah, exactly. You can. They don't encourage it, but you can.
Search gun laws are working out really well over there.
Nice. So just, I want to talk obviously about the movie. There are plenty of things to talk about with you, but just did a movie.
Is it good?
Promoting the movie.
Do you like it?
Well, I watched it at the premiere for the first time, and it was too stimulating. I have to sit down and watch it on my own because I'm watching it, and they put us in the middle of this 500-seat movie theater, and we're kind of just in the middle of everybody. So
so the cast was all sat together?
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. They put us in the middle. Usually it's up front. You can get off and leave if you want to.
Yeah,
but we were kind of stuck.
Oh, no.
So as a comedian, too, I was so hyper-focused on the crowd.
Yes.
Watching if they're like, rustling around or uncomfortable. So I was just kind of listening the whole time.
Yeah.
Did they cry? Is it a crying movie?
I don't think so.
Why would they cry?
Because it was a sad movie.
Right, people cheered?
Yeah, did they cheer?
I think some cheering, and then I got some laughs from, I was trying to throw in some, humor, I guess.
Yeah.
And
but you got laughs?
I got a big laugh on a very violent part.
Oh, really? Well, it's Bonfire Legend, and if we know anything about Dallas Anya, he likes making...
He's a sick man.
He likes making some things pretty
no booing?
Pretty
you didn't
violent.
Get booed?
No booing.
That's good.
But I got a big laugh, and then, I was like, oh, now I have to make a comedy, because it was so fun to get a laugh in a movie theater like that. Where I don't have to be on stage, like, singing and dancing.
Right. That experience is funny, though, about being right in the middle. I had just watched Casey Affleck did one of those GQ videos talking about his roles, and Manchester by the Sea came up. And he was talking about how he doesn't go, he doesn't, usually like when you go to premieres, you go do the red carpet, but he doesn't go into the movie. This one, he was at, what's the film festival out in Colorado? Or Utah?
Sunset. Swanee, Samson. Samsonite.
What's Robert Redford's film festival?
The Sunset.
This is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
Anyway, yeah, please.
Yeah, and you asked me, why do you have your laptop out?
The sun is in the title, right?
Yeah, right?
Sundance.
Anyway, so he's in the theater for Sundance, and he's separated from the cast. and he's watching Manchester by the Sea. And he's like saying this is the first time he's seeing it. And there's this woman who's sat next to him, and every time he's in a scene, she goes like this. She goes, like, how did you feel about that? And he's just like, I couldn't say anything to her. I wanted to be like, ma'am, just can you not look at me every time I'm on screen? It's kind of weird. So he didn't really get a chance to gauge how the movie went because he was just preoccupied with this woman constantly staring at him.
Well, also, why can't he just say it? He could, I guess.
Well, yeah.
There's no one has any boundaries anymore.
No,
Not
right?
to bring this to a Jordan Peterson lecture, but...
Do people try to touch you at the premiere and stuff and just like hug you?
I guess so. Yeah. But I was asking for it. You should have seen what I was wearing.
Yeah.
Well,
what were you wearing?
It's more with the dog. People come up and they grab the dog. No one asks. The other day, a guy came up to my dog and started feeding him. He just started feeding him.
Oh, that's weird.
And
in New York?
He worked at a cafe. He walked out, started feeding him. Here you go, buddy. And I go, hey, you can't.
Hey, you got some extra gabagool. Let me give
my
it to
dog.
The dog.
And he goes, but they're organic. I go, I don't give a crap what they are. Yeah. And he couldn't handle it. And it happened last night. A woman said, could I pet your dog? I said, no. And she goes, oh. And she like ran off.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that? Why do people feel that they're entitled to pet a dog?
They're entitled, yeah.
How do you feel about pit bulls?
Pit bulls? Yeah. Terrified.
You're terrified of them?
Yeah.
Do you hate them?
No, I'm just terrified of them.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair reaction.
But I'm also, the neighborhood I'm in,
pit bulls everywhere.
Pit bulls are vicious. They're raised to be vicious.
Correct.
And I mean...
Correct.
Deadly. Yeah.
They're not exercised, I bet. They're just... See, pit bulls are good if you raise them...
He's a pit bull apologist.
If you raise a pit bull ghettoily... Yeah. Ghettoily, I guess. If you raise them like that, they can be pretty vicious.
If you raise them ghetto.
Good guard dogs. But
it's funny. Yeah, you have to tiptoe around everything now. I'm like, how do I say this?
Ghettoily. Yeah.
Ghetto.
Well, yeah. I was just, there was a guy who's now the dog czar of the Grateful Nation. He was commenting about his thoughts on pit bulls, and it's fantastic. If you go look on the Zuby video in the comments.
Oh, I saw that. The really long one.
Yeah. Really good. Really, really interesting. Very nuanced. And go read that. We won't waste your time on that, but
no, do it now.
Okay. Yeah, you got something to look at on your phone?
The ones they're really, when you walk by, they're holding them from ripping your face off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that could be tough.
But back to Sunset.
Well, let's talk about the movie as an actor, because I've always been interested on what makes a good director. Did you guys have a good director?
No.
Horrible director.
Yeah. Michael Polish was a terrible director. Michael Polish. He didn't give much direction, to be honest.
Really?
And I think a lot of it depends on the actor. I want direction. I want you to tell me, try it this way, try it,
Yeah. Was he up for just kind of improv the whole time?
He just kind of let us do our thing, and there's some directors like that. I know, Woody Allen's a little bit like that,
Oh, yeah,
Just doesn't really interfere, just lets you do your thing.
I wish we had glasses for you.
I know. I used to carry around Woody. I used to do that impression so much. I would have glasses in my pocket all the time. I'm like, that's not good.
Isn't it kind of crazy how he still makes a movie a year?
Yeah.
What's the last one he made?
Rainy Day in New York or something.
Oh, the one with Selena Gomez.
I liked it.
I couldn't.
I just like him.
If he's not in it and there's a character playing him, which is in every movie, with the exception of Midnight in Paris.
I knew you were going to say that. Same time.
One of my favorite movies. I love Midnight in Paris. But
right. Yes, the characters, including women, are just portraying him.
Right.
And
it's just like, it's kind of a weird, because who was that? Elle Fanning was the Woody Allen character in that movie.
Yeah.
It was just kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like him very much. Yeah, Owen Wilson did good. It's hard for him to I'm just feeling neurotic.
Yeah, you could just do wow with him,
marry
right?
my daughter. It's just weird. Just kind of
wow.
Love is love. I don't even know
who's an impression that you wish you could do, you just can't?
Wish I can do but can't. Yeah, there's definitely some. I didn't know I could do Trump.
Oh yeah.
Almost every impression, I don't know I can do it.
Yeah.
I'll see someone else do it and go, that's weird. He doesn't look like him. And he just like, I was like eating something and I was like, this is so great. And I was like, holy crap. And then it was like, And then, I started to do it.
Who's the guy Ross Marquand who's in Walking Dead does great impressions as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's that? I don't know.
Ross Marquand. If you look him up, there's a really great video. I think it's like a GQ or one of those where he's just doing his impressions. And I mean, he's all over the place. Michael Caine. He does Michael Caine trying to open a jar. He's like, oh, I'm trying. But it's
Michael Caine.
Yeah, he's really good. He does a great George Clooney.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to diversify because I don't think of myself as an impressionist.
Yeah, no, I don't think of you as one either.
No, it was really, I only did it because I had a manager that was like, do an audition for SNL. You got to send me 6 impressions and 6 characters. And I just had to come up. I don't think I had any. Maybe I had Woody Allen.
That's the prereq for SNL. 6 characters, 6 impressions.
Something like that.
Wow.
Apparently now you don't need anything.
Or talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Just sent him Nanette.
Yeah.
When I was on Brett Cooper's show, we watched a 10-minute clip of.
We can't talk about other shows while we're on the show.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
What's her name? Nanette.
The Australian comedian or New Zealand, whatever she is. Yeah. Bad.
Who's that?
Nanette.
But what's her real name?
I don't know.
I don't think I know.
She did a Netflix special that got like 0% audience.
I don't remember her name.
Oh. No, wait, not this person.
How are you doing?
Yeah, Hannah Gadsby.
Hannah Gadsby, that's it.
His
Hannah
fingers
Gadsby.
are all over the place.
That was it. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen.
It's bad. Try watching 15 minutes of it.
Is it really bad?
It's abusive. I hate to say that. Words are violence, but it's her just being like, I don't like men. Men are terrible. I hate them.
Yeah.
I don't hate them, but they're the fucking worst. And it was no laughs, nothing.
Everyone praised it. All the critics praised it. Oh, this nuanced take on this is what comedy is now. And it's just like,
I never make fun of comedians. I really don't. I think it's really hard. I'd never criticize even a new comedian, but I can't help it.
I don't think you're alone there. I think a lot of comedians actually.
Wasn't it somebody like Dave Chappelle referenced her and said she was very unfunny?
Maybe on Rogan's show. I think they may have had a conversation.
Maybe.
He's talked about that special.
Because I remember I heard some comedian bash her, but it's very rare to hear comedians say that other comedians suck. It's like, I don't think I hear that much.
But they do behind the scenes and stuff, but I just don't. I made a rule, like, I don't gossip at all. I just don't. Because like you start to get any success or whatever, they're all going to come at you. So I decided if I don't do that, I'm fine if they do.
Yeah.
So, but God, she is brutal.
Yeah.
Freaking brutal.
I love Bill Burr. I love that impression is great. I saw that there's a video of you and someone else. You're Bill Burr and he's Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like, like, do you like talking about doing the impressions or is it just something that once you start to get pretty well known on social media, everyone's just like, do the impressions.
I don't know. I think part of it also was it was for SNL. And then it became, I felt like I could say what I wanted as the person. Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going out with these goddamn feminists, right? I got to pay the bill. They don't do shit, right? And then I asked to sleep with them. They're like, And so I started, and then people would like it. I'm like, oh, but that was kind of my thought as Bill Burr. And so that's kind of what I did. I was channeling myself through the impressions. So I had it was useful for me.
Interesting workaround.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want as long as you're somebody else.
Yeah. Why don't you shut the hell up? Okay. Shut the hell up. Lock her up.
How do you feel about Fauci getting COVID?
Oh.
I stuttered when I said COVID. I was like, the video going to get taken down?
Yeah.
Is that your most popular one? Fauci?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe Bill Burr was when I used to do it a lot. Yeah, the Fauci was interesting. That my career changed when I did that because suddenly people, including comedians, were like, "You can't make fun of this," and I was deemed as this like far right extremist because I was pushing back on all the COVID stuff and didn't want to get the vaccine for my own reasons, didn't care what anyone else did, but I was like, what is going on?
Imagine that. Like, you're a comedian.
Yeah.
You have you have to do it. You have to make fun of these people, like public famous people. It's almost your job.
Yeah. I didn't do anything differently with him than I did with Owen Wilson. I make fun of Owen Wilson, like trying to commit suicide. I make fun, like every impression I do, I try to.
What was that like?
The impression?
Yeah.
What I used to do a show called the Wowen Wilson Show or something. So I played 2 Owen Wilsons with a green screen.
Oh God, yeah.
And just talking about, man, I heard you tried to kill yourself, man. I wish you wouldn't bring it up. We got to go to the sponsor. It's going to be weird. This is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You'll never cut yourself again. Oh, man, I see how that's a little awkward. You tried to cut yourself. But I was like, I did that. I made fun of everybody in every impression, including Trump and stuff. And then now I do Biden and Fauci, and they're like, oh, you're a far-right extremist. I'm like, no, I'm just making fun of whoever's, you know, in front of the table right now. Yeah. So it was really interesting to, like, I'd go into comedy clubs, and it became this, like, widespread rumor that I was in QAnon, that I was
that's almost better for the bit if they're like, here's the QAnon
the QAnon guy.
I'd be ready to die. I'd be ready to laugh at a QAnon comic. You know what I mean? Like,
and I went on Fox News because I couldn't get on anywhere else. Like, trust me, I've tried to get on SNL, Colbert. I've been submitting for those shows for 9 years. And then, Fox was like, do you want to come on and do the Fauci? And I was like, sure. Are you going to censor me? And they said no. Awesome. And so I would go on Fox occasionally and have 5 minutes to just do stand-up, basically.
Really?
And people were the comedians just went freaked out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like, did they call George Carlin a far right when he was talking about, politicians or, the environmentalists and stuff like that? Like, one of his best bits ever is about, environmentalists and global warming and stuff. Like, it's one of his best bits.
But you think they would celebrate the equality, that you treat everyone the same and make fun of everyone?
No, the rules suddenly changed. That they're shape-shifting all of the rules.
It's like when Ricky Gervais was talking about trans people in his last special, they were acting like they were so offended. I'm like, you have been wanting equality for years.
Yeah.
Welcome to equality.
Exactly.
Everybody gets made fun of. We're equal now.
And he says that too. He's like, I'm including you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is inclusive.
And comedy's always been a social, way to show that you're in the group. Mm-hmm. When you have a group of friends, most of what you do is make fun of each other.
Right.
So you're actually hurting these people by excluding and protecting them.
Yeah, exactly. It's not good. If you're not being made fun of, something's wrong.
Yeah.
That means people don't like you.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah, and that's what's sad is people are starting to resent these groups, so-called communities, which aren't communities, because no one has more than 4 friends,
right?
And it's just hurting them because they're being outcast now and protected and
coddled.
Yeah.
Coddled.
Yeah.
No,
why is that? How did we get to a society where adults have to be treated with kid gloves?
I mean,
seriously.
Okay, I mean, we can get into it.
You want to go there?
No, but just you know what I mean? I mean, imagine, there have always been hecklers in comedy clubs, like people who are uncomfortable with a joke or something like that, or just people who are drunk. That's not all women. And then you're saying, okay, well, it's a comedy bit.
You seen that Joan Rivers thing? It was from 15 years ago or something. She was talking about how she wishes her daughter were Helen Keller so she wouldn't have to hear her talk. Mm-hmm. And an old guy in the front row said, "That's not funny. You can't say that." And she grabbed her microphone, went up to her, and she was like, "Life is pain." Yeah. And she was like, "It is funny." And then she was going off on all the things that she's faced in her life. And she was like, "It is funny."
The guy's wife was blind or something.
She was like, the daughter or the wife was blind. And she was like, "It is funny. Life is pain. Get used to it."
Yeah.
Really?
And how far we've come since then.
Yeah. Well, someone pointed out earlier on a certain podcast I won't mention, but she said she didn't like that Ricky in the beginning was kind of almost pre-apologizing for his jokes or setting up that. Did you feel the same way?
Remember you texted me, you're like, this isn't very good. And then I'm like, keep watching it.
I mean.
But I agree. I didn't look, you could do whatever you want as a comic, obviously.
Did you like that special?
I liked it, but I never like when a comedian lays out what they're about to do.
Yeah.
It's like a magician going, all right, here's this box, and I'm going to open it, and there might be a rabbit in there, and don't worry, it's all magic. It takes away the magic.
Yeah.
And comedy is magic. You really if you take someone for a ride, and then boom, you surprise them. I mean, the room erupts, you know, there's no more human reaction than a laugh.
Well, that's how I felt with Aziz's last special. I was like, this sounds like a paid advertisement from Big Pharma.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Was that the one where he apologized?
No, this was the black and white one.
He's made another one since?
Yeah.
The black and white was the one.
Did he apologize in the black and
white?
The
one, was that at BAM in Brooklyn?
Yeah, he was
sitting in the beginning? Yeah, that's when he apologized.
Oh, he did?
I turned it off right when he started apologizing, and then I don't think I ever watched him or Netflix again.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he apologize for?
You haven't watched Netflix? Whoa.
Yeah.
Because he was involved in like a Me Too kind of thing.
Right, where he was like sexting a girl was inappropriate or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
They like were hooking up and she was like, no, yes. And then he got his life ruined and apologized. And she like regretted it later on. You know, and then that became a new norm of, okay,
that's a new Me
you
Too.
owe someone an apology if they consented to something, and then later on they were upset.
They regret it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what happened with Rainn Wilson from The Office, that he made a chest feeding, joke or something on Twitter 2 days ago. And then he apologized and deleted it because he's like, I was talking to some of my friends in the trans. Look up the tweet. I was talking to some of my friends in the trans community, and they told me how insensitive it was. So I apologized. And I was just
you
like,
talk
dude,
to two mentally ill people.
Yeah, never apologize.
Who don't speak for the any trans people other than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
James Cameron, a famous writer. James, let me find another.
James Lindsay?
James Lindsay.
I have it right here. He's a famous author, and he recently did an interview where he said, right now, it actually is hard for a straight white guy to get a book deal. And the numbers actually show that. And,
really?
And he had to apologize. Let's see, James Patterson.
Oh wait, the action writer guy, the drama writer guy,
New York Times bestselling author, Children's Choice Book Award author, husband, father. Yeah.
So he was just stating a fact.
Yep. And here's what he said: I apologize for saying white men writers have trouble finding work is a form of racism. I absolutely do not believe that racism is practiced against white writers. Please know I strongly support a diversity of voices being heard in literature and Hollywood everywhere,
except mine.
Yeah. It's so sad. And this guy pointed out, the first guy that commented, he goes, dude, the woke are going to come for you and eat you alive. Now you just lost the other group of people who hate this cancel culture. You just screwed yourself so bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? That's why I never apologize.
I've always thought this is a weird
Unless you do something wrong.
Even then.
Even then, just never do.
Just don't.
It's just a rule. It's a rule. We don't apologize on the show.
Yeah.
I've always thought stand-up comedians, it sounds weird, but I feel like one of the hardest jobs in the world is being a good stand-up comedian. There's a lot of different things you need. You need to be an excellent public speaker. Mm-hmm. You got to be really plugged into what's happening culturally. You have to know how to read a crowd. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's so much.
Please equate it to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu next.
What?
Please equate it to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu next.
What do you mean?
Being a stand-up comic's like being a fighter. Go, do that.
Is it?
Do that.
Is it?
It's just a funny thing. I just love it when people go on certain shows and are like, it's like being a fighter. It's, you got to bounce back. You got to throw punches. You got to have stamina.
It's a fight up there. Yeah.
It's like, dude, no, it's not.
No, I just think it's so interesting because comedians have to be very plugged in, and reading a crowd is really difficult, especially when you go up and you have to do a lot of public speaking and you have to like know what your jokes are going to be, but you also have to know how they're going to land. I don't know. I just find stand-up comedians to be very fascinating. I've always thought it's one of the hardest jobs, and it sounds weird. It's like people just think you just go up there and like crack jokes, but I think it's a very difficult job.
According to Hannah Gatz's plug, you don't have, you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have to get laughs.
Her thing was a TED Talk.
It was a TED Talk, an angry TED Talk.
An angry TED Talk. An angry, bitter TED Talk.
Yeah, you don't tell people what you think. You do it with the jokes.
Right.
You don't say, I hate this person. You go, no, like mask it in a joke and make it digestible.
Have you ever heard of Mike Ward?
No.
He was a comedian that he was on Gavin's show. We just happened to be like guests on the same show. He's on Gavin's show, and he made a stand-up comedian. He made a joke about a Make-A-Wish kid. Mm-hmm. Something saying like, when will this kid die? He's just, he's never going to die.
This one.
He got taken to the Human Rights Tribunal in Canada.
Whoa.
And he eventually won. He eventually won the case, I believe, but they were going to throw him in jail for it.
Wow.
Wow.
Like the state, imagine that. That's actually a pretty funny joke.
That just happened in England. A guy went to jail for something he said in a private WhatsApp chat.
What?
Yeah. Something about, some comment about the BLM movement in some way.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I think, was it a cop who got fired, I think? Oh, no, it was a cop who got sentenced to prison.
In
yeah.
England.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw it was like on the Daily Mail. It was like cop was talking about BLM in a WhatsApp, and they threw him in prison for like 13 months or sentenced him to something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's next 1984. Level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot more freedoms than
How did your first open mic night go?
That was in college. I actually was doing a play. Okay, I did do an impression. I played George W. Bush in a play called Stuff Happens. Mm-hmm. And it was all, I think most of the play was actual dialogue from him and Colin Powell and like the whole weapons of mass destruction thing. It was a good play. And I didn't know who to audition for, and I picked George Bush. And so I was playing, just kind of do a little bit of this. Strategery.
That's good.
And I that's kind of maybe the first time an impression came out. And it was I just made it funny. I played him pretty straight, and an actor was like, "You got to do stand up." And he's like, "Tuesday night, you're coming to the cafeteria." I do an open mic at the cafeteria, and I was up for like 3 days straight.
Really?
Yeah.
So the impressions drove the stand up.
I guess you're right.
At first, at least.
At first, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's really cool.
I don't remember it. It was terrible.
I think
you just don't know what you're doing.
That's what I was about to say. That's got to be one of the most frightening things, but just like physically anxiety-inducing things is to get up on stage having never done it before.
Yeah, no skills. No.
But did you have an acting background before that?
Just about a year or two in college.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe like a little bit more comfortable than someone who's going up there cold.
Yeah. If you're an actor, improv background, you probably have a little more. You go in a little stronger than.
Yes, and.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, listen, are we able to talk about your legal issues?
Sure.
We can talk about that?
Do whatever you want.
They're ongoing, though. I want to make sure that you don't kind of ruin...
Yeah, I don't think I could talk about anything like from when we filed the suit on. But,
right, okay. But for those of you who don't know what happened to Ty, he's been very vocal about it. Can you tell us what happened?
Oh, yeah. I was sexually abused by Hannah Gatsby.
And you did press charges.
I pressed charges.
And he went right away. As soon as it happened, he didn't wait 20 years.
Hashtag me too.
It's called a she too.
Oh, trying to get that she trending. As well. Hashtag she as well.
She as well.
She as well. Yeah.
Or me as well.
Me as well.
Because it's me too, right? So she too. Yeah, she too. I like she too.
Me too.
She too.
That was so, man. Anyways, we don't have to get into that. But the lawsuit is a talent manager scouted me, said we want to work with you. And then a few months later, he called and said, I was told we can't hire white men anymore.
Okay.
And then I hit record. And I said, can you say that again?
Yeah.
A little slower.
A little louder.
A little slower. And and he said, we love you. I even got a recommendation from one of their celebrity clients who was a fan of mine.
Really?
So I won't name the person, but this was like a childhood idol of mine, comedian. And, so you're going pretty confident. Like, they love me. They came to scout me. I've got this celebrity guy. My stuff's blowing up on the internet. I've been doing it for, acting for 17 years. And not to say you ever deserve anything. It's like, I audition my ass off, and sometimes I'll audition for 200 things before I book one.
Right.
And that's fine, But he said it very clearly. He said, we're just not hiring white men. I said, is that company policy? And he said, yeah. And I, it was awful. And it's happened many times.
Really?
It's happened before. One guy said something similar, but in an email, an agent I was working with, and then he dropped me. And I friends that would book me on podcasts go, hey, I hope you understand because of the BLM thing. We can't, it's a bad look to have a white guy on.
What?
This was happening like on a weekly basis. And then this was just the pinnacle. And
just to have you on as a guest on a podcast?
Yeah. 2 in a row. Shows, casting directors would say, hey, we probably shouldn't submit a white guy for this, but I know you're right for the role. We're going to slip you in. I'm going, what? If it has nothing to do with the role, which it didn't, why are you slipping me in?
Right, exactly.
It just took on a life of its own. It's still happening, but nobody talks about it.
Jeez. So is this, are you actually like, you have actually filed a suit, right? You're not like in negotiation talking about any sort of settlement with these people. Like, you filed a suit.
We filed a suit. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually would probably, like, if it ends up going to court, like, hopefully you win. It's like good precedent.
It's hard to say though. I mean, this is in Brooklyn, New York. If you've got a slew of woke DAs and stuff, you don't, I mean, who knows what can happen, but hopefully.
Which you do. But I mean, if there is a negative outcome to that, you can appeal to higher courts.
Yeah. But it's a testament of where we are, where people go, do you think you even have a case? You think someone will even take that on and go, well, what if it was a black person, a lesbian, a trans person? Yeah. Nobody would question it.
Right.
So we have two standards now, and we're going backwards.
Just imagine if somebody said, black is not what we're really looking for right now. Imagine if somebody said that.
The building would be burned down.
I know. There'd be riots in the streets for months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's kind of what our case is. We're not, I was like over explaining it all. And, what if in the bottom line is like, this is the law. And if it happened to anybody else, the law would be upheld.
So it is clear discrimination.
Yeah. In plain English. Yeah.
Isn't this the first time in history that we live in a country where the majority race is being discriminated against, very, very clearly?
Yeah.
I don't think there has been an example in history that's like that.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think it is. I really cannot, if anybody watching, if you can think of an instance, a country or society that has done the same, but first time in history we're seeing, we live in a country that's 76% white.
Right.
And it's just so weird on its face. Like Ty and I, are we the same? Are we just two white guys?
That means absolutely nothing.
Confusing with me. I never thought of white as any part of my identity until people started shoving it on you. But if you and I said, "Hey, man, we've got some white pride. We want white pride," and well, then we would be racist. So again, it's like you can't have.
Well, we don't. We have all the power. We have the power. So, I mean, you can be black pride. You can be Latinx pride.
You have the privilege.
Oh, it's not even Latinx anymore. It's Latine. It's Latin with an E. I question this stuff all the time.
I thought I heard AOC say Latinx.
No, AOC. Let's get her on the show with her.
You also can't ask white people to make those noises we just can't make.
Yeah.
Can you roll your R?
No, I can't. I don't even think I can roll my R.
Well, what's the best is when a Latino person is speaking like this, and then all of a sudden he'll be like, "Yeah, listen. So I was at the store and I had to tell the person gracias and
gracias, yeah.
Or I say abuela.
Yeah, abuela. Yeah, abuela. Well, that's Spanglish. You can thank the Puerto Ricans for that. So,
but yeah, you that is wild. The majority, but not only that, but it's acceptable.
Yeah.
So everyone's accepting it. Most people are accepting it. And we know where this goes. We have history to look at.
Yeah.
If you make this is justified. You think it's just going to be contained? No, it's going to get out of control.
Yep.
And I think the scarier part than actually what happened to me is how comfortable people are saying it out loud because they know now. There's no repercussion. That's terrifying. I mean, this guy nearly just kind of giggled when he told me. We kind of had a little laugh. We had a laugh. We had a laugh after.
Ha ha ha! You're white. I can hire you.
Yeah, that's good. Isn't that kind of weird?
The pendulum will swing back, and what?
We'll get back to the KKK one day. Don't worry.
So there's just no parts for white guys anymore.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Seems like it would be the case.
It's the virtue signaling. It's like we want to get as many people that aren't white or straight to make our.
He's licking my ankle.
Oh, okay.
I'm not feeding him food. Don't worry. I am petting him though.
There's a dog in the studio, just so people are aware of what's happening.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's out of hand, and it's funny to even when I posted it. It's mostly support. Most people are common sense and they support it, but. I'm still like, now I've got a target on my back again in the comedy clubs.
Still.
People, man, this guy just said you lost your mind. I can't believe you're suing. People can't believe that I'm doing it. And I'm standing up for myself.
Do you have comedians that will DM you or text you or like, man, keep it up, man?
Yeah. They whisper it. They'll kind of look around and go, I like what you're doing, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just living. I'm just being a comedian. Don't make this a big deal. I'm being a comedian and I'm standing up for something that happened that was illegal.
Is it kind of annoying when they're like, yeah, like secretly supporting you, but they won't say anything?
It's their loss, because at the end of the day, that's no way to live.
He doesn't need it either. He's like, he doesn't need the support of people.
No, I don't.
Support from family, great. Support from friends, cool, but support from people.
Yeah, but more than support, isn't it just annoying that there's so many A-list comedians, celebrities, actors who think exactly the same way that we do, but they're all too cowardly to say anything. And that, for me, it's more, it's less about support for someone like him and more about shifting the cultural conversation.
Because if more people did speak up, we'd have less of that.
I mean,
I think it's tough because if you're in that situation and you know, I might actually lose my agent if I say this. I mean, everyone's scared. We're in a really weird place right now where, whatever happened to this author, someone sat him down and said, look, you're going to lose your next book deal if you don't apologize.
Which is insane to me.
So people have to just start doing it, But
at the same time, and this is where I do appreciate what Daily Wire is doing, at the same time, you have companies like Daily Wire who are really starting to step up, but are really starting to step up and saying, listen, these actors are going to be fired for this type of stuff. Well, guess what? We're going to throw hundreds of millions of dollars behind them, and we're going to make movies.
Yeah.
Okay. That should actually make studios, talent agencies, that should make them shiver a little bit.
I'm sure they are.
You know what I mean? Like, be like, okay, well, Gina Carano's empowered. Like, maybe a couple of other actors. I mean, look at Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's still making movies.
He is.
Yeah. Mel Gibson, but could you ever cancel Mel Gibson? They've tried twice.
So many
Mark
times.
Wahlberg's now selling a Christian Bible app. Oh, who would have thought? Can you do Mark Wahlberg?
But he's also pretty well.
I don't think I've done Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he's kind of tough. Andy Samberg did a good Mark Wahlberg.
He kind of whispers, right?
Yeah, there's not.
How you doing? How your mother's doing?
Distinct.
You from Boston? How you doing? Say hi to your mother for me.
Say hi to your mother. Yeah, it's like a little high like that.
I rewatched The Fighter the other day. Yeah, it's
The Fighter's good. So I watched Father
Stu?
I watched Father Stu. Yeah, we watched it.
Was it good?
Ago. Yeah, it was good. You ever see a movie that's like a mainstream movie? It had Mel Gibson, it has Mark Wahlberg, and it feels kind of Hallmarky?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like Hallmarky with fucks. And I was like, this is weird.
Fuck, dude.
I don't know.
I love you. Fuck. You're my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a little excessive, and it just made some very like kind of like mainstream cookie cutter like God references. It wasn't very biblical. It was kind of on the nose. Yes.
On the nose.
But go recommend it. It's on Amazon. Yeah.
What's dating like in New York these days?
It's a nightmare. I mean, I want to stay positive because I would like a girlfriend and a wife eventually.
How about kids?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. And that is what a tricky part. There is kids are destroying the planet. I just chatting with a barista the other day and some little kids ran in and I said, do you want kids? She's like, well, the world's ending, so no. I was like, this poor girl, she's like 22 and she's being taught that kids are evil and they're going to destroy the planet. And Fred, come here. Speaking of kids.
Go over there. Go.
I would instantly ruin her day. Oh, well, the world's ending. You probably get leave.
But I wanted to ask her out. So
you did?
Tough place. But inevitably, at this point, I need to know kind of up front before I date anyone if they want kids.
Yeah.
The woke ideology thing, it's tough. Like the Hannah Gatsby clip I just watched where she's just saying men are evil, they're the worst, But I don't hate them, but they're the worst. A lot of women are like that.
She is a lesbian, though, right?
I think she's a lesbian.
Yeah. The odds are.
The odds are.
Is that she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I can't stand either? The people who, there are people on social media who virtue signal that they don't have kids, child free and loving. Like they do like these videos where like a lot of people want to know like why I really talk about like not having kids, and it's just like nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't care that you have kids.
It's become a religion. It's its own religion.
You think I care?
Well, what's funny is they do the videos like, this is what my mornings look like. I can wake up whenever I want. And I'm like, okay.
Great.
Yeah. Like, you're going to die alone. It's funny, but it's not. They are. I mean, It's like you're going to leave behind nothing and nobody is going to remember you. Matt Walsh says this a lot on his show, and it's depressing and dark, but he's right. Nobody's going to remember them. They're going to die. If you don't have a husband and kids or wife and kids, whatever, like, who's going to remember you?
And what's the story?
Your dog?
They always regret it. 60-year-old woman regrets not having kids. Too late.
Yeah, or 40-something. There's like two types of women I typically go out with. They'll be a little younger, 14, 15.
Yeah.
When I'm doing my my Woody. I'm just getting into character.
Oh, Sun Yi.
But Sun Yi. They're all named Sun Yi. That's
Asian.
That's I don't see Asian.
Oh, okay.
I don't see Asians.
Okay.
I refuse to believe Asians are real.
Asians can't see you either. Get it? It's an eye joke.
My best, I'll just do it because my favorite pandemic joke is I met a woman and she had a mask on and I asked her out. We went on 5 dates and she kept her mask on. And my friend's like, what does she look like? And I'm like, she's not Asian. And I love watching the crowd try to figure out, because they laugh, but then they're like, wait, is that racist? And they slowly figure out.
Wait, do you see the gears working in real time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Especially in like Brooklyn or something. Yeah.
Can you just be like, it's a joke?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a joke.
Exactly.
Feel free to laugh. In
fun,
here, you guys can laugh.
It's fun. Yeah. They're loosening up. People are loosening up.
Yeah, I think so. I think the pandemic has kind of beat people over the head where they're just like, I don't care if it's racist. I'll go see Hitler do stand-up at this point.
I need to get out.
It's very funny. It's very funny. But yeah, it is tough because there's all this. There's so many things to check off now where someone like won't even talk to you if you're not this.
Have you given up online dating? Like, I'm over that.
I stopped online dating and I dated someone like long distance for the last 5 months. It ended, but it was like somebody who seemed to be okay with what I was saying, but inevitably, again, this sort of indoctrination of getting women to hate men for being assertive or having, whatever. So as soon as I set any boundaries within the relationship, it was like, you're a controlling toxic man. You're just trying to control me. It's like, no, I'm just expressing what I need. And so I broke up with her because I kept hitting that wall where she loved my manliness and I'm standing up to the vaccine stuff and I'm doing my thing. But then this like toxic masculinity thing came in.
That seems like the opposite of toxic, though.
Well, I know that's what it's. I think a lot of men are confused because they want to be men, and women are attracted to manly men. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. But then we also want to show that sensitive side that we're being told to show, and then they go, "Oh, you pussy, shut up," or "You're just controlling," or whatever. Yeah, and I've run into that so many times where I'm like, I guess I got to move to Nashville.
Yeah, you should. What's the what's the ideal? What's the ideal woman that Ty is looking for?
6'5", just who can hold me, and
broad shoulders,
protect
me.
Be the
broad shoulders.
I did, like, the best swimmer I am
around.
Pretty short, so a lot of the women I've dated have been taller than me. You know, and I don't care, but that also becomes an issue where they're like, "This is." But I remember I dated this woman way taller than me, and we're on the subway, and she was behind me, kind of like holding me, and I was like, "Oh, I see why women like this. Is so nice."
It's nice being a little.
I felt so protected. The ideal, someone with healthy boundaries. Again, I think people have a hard time with boundaries now. Like if you date someone and they have no boundaries or anything, it's like run. Mm-hmm. People have to set their own boundaries.
Yeah.
Man, I got so many eligible bachelorettes for you.
That's
here.
what I'm saying. I'm like, there are plenty.
I know a couple girls. I know a couple here. I know a couple really nice girls in Florida. Very eligible bachelor.
Yeah. Why are you sticking around in New York? Is it because of the comedy scene there?
Well, I'm not quite welcome in the comedy scene there, so that doesn't matter. And I started, fortunately, I can tour now and set up my own show, so I'm not bound to that comedy club life anymore. I actually don't perform much anymore.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, I can tour. I'm not relying on those clubs where you kind of also have to fit a mold sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I've got a great house.
Yeah. Are you still Airbnb-ing it?
No, I live alone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I live alone.
Okay, well, that's good. Being in Brooklyn, I'm sure.
I love the New York. Have you guys ever lived in New York?
I'm from there.
Yeah.
Most of my family's from there, but I never lived in the city.
It kind of gets this grasp on you, and you go to another city, you're like, well, it's not New York.
I think everyone should live in New York for at least a year. Experience it. Yeah. Because, listen, I lived in Brooklyn for, 4 or 5 years? Something like that. From Long Island, lived in Brooklyn. It got old for me. It got old for me. Taking the subway every day for however long. Yeah. especially when I was working downtown, it's just like, dude, it
beats on you.
It's really bad. And people,
I feel you. You could feel I'm like a war veteran.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen too much.
You look
weathered.
65.
I'm weathered. Yeah.
No, but just, I have bosses, I have friends that are like, yeah, but you can't. I mean, it's the restaurants and it's the culture. I'm like, yeah, what is it? The culture of going to Union Square and there's a dude taking a shit over there. There's a dude shooting up over there.
Yeah.
There are cops harassing you for no reason. It's one of the reasons why I have such a distasteful view of police. Not not in a terrible way, but because New York City police are just awful.
ACAB?
Yeah.
In what way? What do you mean awful?
They're so dismissive of you, especially like when you actually need help. They don't do anything. Cops down here, I've realized, are totally different than cops up there. Granted, they probably get a lot of bullshit. They got to deal with a lot of bullshit up there.
In New York City, I mean, you're
that's fine, but there's more of an air. It's also New York. It's also a lot of the people in certain neighborhoods are from those neighborhoods, so you get a lot of New York in those cops too, where it's very like, I don't got time for you, kid. Fucking hit the road.
I would say do it for a month and then reevaluate.
I wouldn't though. That's the thing. I wouldn't. When I am if I were to have a public servant's job, I would probably treat it in a way where I was like, listen, I have to be a servant of the public here. I have to make sure that, I take everybody seriously, and just it's the arrogance. It's the air of attitude around a lot of them. I don't want to do it for a month.
Because most of what people come up to them for are false alarms, are fake, are homeless people.
Part of the job.
So you've got to you're going to be a shell.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah. But
I've had different experiences. There's a lot of cops.
Listen,
there's a lot of cops.
Long Island and New York. I have friends who are NYPD.
Are you talking about Long Island or New York City?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I had a guy I didn't have a guy. I had two cops that came to my house because someone made a death threat against my mother. Wrote a crazy sign, put it on our door.
I was drunk.
Put it on our door with a photo of my mother on it. So we called the police and they were like, there's nothing we can do. I was like, what do you mean there's nothing? You can investigate. This is a legitimate death threat. Yeah, well, if anything else happens, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a shotgun, and the person who comes to my house and I don't know who it is, I'm going to shoot them, and then you're going to have to come down here. How do you feel about that? It is what it is. That's what he said. It is what it is. I said, get the fuck out of my house. I said, get out. That's what I said to him. I said, get the fuck out of my house.
That's what he said? It is what it is?
It is what it is. Sorry.
Do you know what he could have done, legally?
What he could have done legally is he could have taken the letter, held it as evidence, he didn't even take a report.
Oh, okay.
Didn't even take a report.
Like a bad cop.
Yeah, just bad. And listen, obviously, not all cops, but the majority of my life being spent in New York, I've just had horrible interactions with them.
Yeah. Well, you're in luck because they're not around anymore.
No, they're leaving in droves.
I haven't seen a cop in my neighborhood in 2 years.
What? Really?
No, they do not patrol.
Oh, well, since the BLM stuff, a lot of stuff was popping off in certain parts of Brooklyn.
And they have no morale. I mean, they're going to be maybe they're actually going to be nicer now because they have no morale.
Cops want to work in places where they're actually wanted and appreciated.
Well, here's the problem.
Do a good job.
They actually are wanted and appreciated in my neighborhood. And I live in a 99% black neighborhood where there's a lot of crime. People like the cops there. I've watched interaction with cops in my neighborhood for 13 years. I haven't seen one negative one.
Do the policymakers not want them there though?
That's it.
I think that's the thing. I think when you get a lot of prominent,
they want them there because there's murders. I mean, the guy was murdered in my deli recently.
Really?
My local cafe was held up at gunpoint right before I walked in.
Oh my gosh.
My van was did a camper share with a neighbor, stolen and lived in for 2 weeks by a crackhead.
Really?
I was almost assaulted twice in a park where I just was able to get away in time. There are no police.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, as Seth Rogen says, that's just the price you pay for living in a city.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Seth.
That's the trade-off.
That's just capitalism.
So it's going to New York's going to get
way
worse. It's going to get back to the 70s status. Maybe
70s
worse.
Times Square.
I think worse, actually.
Jeez, you think so?
Yeah.
Because for a while it was a very safe city, right?
Safest in the country.
Yeah.
Relatively,
very
yeah.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah, you felt safe walking around.
No, I'm genuinely terrified now. I mean, it's not fun. That's what's going to really drive me out, I think.
And you don't even have the means to protect yourself.
Oh, I've got a Labradoodle.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah. Get the criminal to just go, good boy.
Can I take a picture with him?
Yeah,
dude. Sure. Wow.
The guy was just shot and killed on my subway on his way to brunch.
What?
Yeah, executed on my train. Stockbroker, just on his way to brunch on a Saturday.
Gosh.
Just executed.
In broad daylight? Like in front
on
of
the
people?
subway.
Really? On the subway platform or in the car?
In the car. And then you had that whole shooting a few weeks ago. And it's
whatever happened to that guy, by the way? Does anyone know what happened?
I think he's the mayor now. I think that's
he did look like Eric Adams.
Happened.
That's right.
Eric Adams of New York.
Dude,
he adds S's to the end of it.
Oh, does he really?
Stops the crimes in New York.
Remember that video that we watched, and he was like, "You can't, you can't work at Dunkin' Donuts and expect to have a corner office job." Like,
what? The crackers.
How did these people get elected?
Yeah, I don't know, but he's a
piece of work.
He's a disappointment.
Former cop.
Know, as a white guy, you're not supposed to do an impression of a fucking idiot, but
wow.
Yeah, but so I need to apologize for that.
This might be the one.
Yeah.
No, every time we say this might be the one, it's not the one.
It's not the one.
Yeah, which is good.
So it'll be the one time that we don't say this is the one that'll happen.
What?
Like that, like we get our first strike or something like that.
We get threatened to, we're going to remove your channel for hate speech. I don't know.
Gina, ask him a question.
For hate speech.
Ask me.
Why do you stay then? I always ask people this question. Why do you stay in New York? So I have a cousin. He's like a brother to me. He and his wife are pregnant. They got a baby in September, and they've been in New York for years and years. I'm like, why do you stay? Because similar stories to him. His wife. Twice she has like an hour and a half commute to work on the subway, and twice in the last probably several months she's been like nearly assaulted. So I wonder, like, what keeps you guys there?
It's the
can't get out of his lease.
Living on the edge. Yeah. I like almost getting assaulted.
Yeah. You're
I
a bad
mean,
boy.
as a comedian actor, it was, I before the pandemic, before the super woke stuff, I was auditioning a lot. You're running around auditioning in person. That's how it used to be in the olden days. And so I would be auditioning for commercials, TV shows. I started booking TV shows, and then you'd go and do stand-up at night. So it was kind of the hub. And if you don't want to live in LA, that was really the option. So I think we just haven't caught up yet to the reality that it's not what it was. That if you can grow a following as a comedian, you don't have to be in one place. And it's better as a comedian to grow, to be able to go and do an hour or 70 minutes on the road every night or every weekend, than do these 10-minute sets where, everyone's looking around afraid of what they're saying and, what comedian is watching them or something.
Not a very conducive environment for fun.
No, it's not a healthy scene.
I don't think so.
Who's your favorite comedian on the scene right now?
On the scene. I don't know.
Generally.
Now I have to go, who hates me? Who can I even, how do I detach from? I was going to say a guy who he just was talking shit about me. So I'm not going to say it. It's fine. I'm just not, I don't care about any of that stuff. I feel bad for anyone that has to do that.
It's also like grown men having opinions on like other dudes
it's sad.
who work in the same.
It's kindergarten.
Like, grow up.
It's kindergarten.
You know who I hate?
Yeah.
Because I just said the thing that I don't like and then I say it.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I don't know. I'm so removed from it.
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah. I don't go to shows much, but I'm doing stuff on the internet and movies and all this stuff.
And that's cool.
I sacrificed that lifestyle for something that is way more interesting to me.
You want to hear me do an ad read?
Sure.
Cool. Hold it up, Gina, because I got to get like a thing for this thing. Just hit the. Now I'm yeah. Good Ranchers is giving away 2 free 18-ounce prime center cut ribeyes to every person that uses my code Doing Great. Did you hear me? Was it a mistake? No. That's over 2 pounds of ribeye steaks just added to your order at no cost to you. You can make a one-time purchase or subscribe and save $25 on every box. Plus, like I said, you'll get 2 free 18-ounce boneless ribeyes. Good Ranchers is giving them to you for free when you go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat. This is a limited stock offer, and it's first come, first serve. Just like I tell all my ladies, make sure you take time today, right now. Do it. Go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat or use my code doinggreat at checkout. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. What do you think about that?
That was pretty good.
I love Good Ranchers.
I kind of want to get into like the Duncan Trussell of ad reads where they go on for 7 minutes and it turns into like this whole thing. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
My question was, oh wait, no, I really did have a question for you.
Did you forget it?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Oh, here's a question, because I answered this recently on a Q&A because I asked myself the question, who's your favorite scorer of film?
Scorer of film?
Yeah.
I couldn't even come up with my favorite comedian.
Who's the guy that you like the soundtracks of? They're not soundtracks, they're film scores.
Who's your favorite craft services?
Isn't craft services great?
It depends on what
depends. Yeah,
Terror on the Prairie was unbelievable. This woman
you guys
was
were in Montana, right?
Elk and roasting meats. And
Did you have the elk?
Yeah, we had all of it. Yeah, it was good.
Like bison burgers,
bison, all that stuff.
You eat meat?
Oh yeah,
nice, dude.
Yeah,
cool.
I feel sick if I don't eat meat every day.
Oh, do you really? Well, let me tell you something about my experience with that.
Well, meat and salt.
I can't even have apple juice.
That's that.
That's that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's that. Mm-hmm. How do you do, like, people probably wonder, how can we do such great Jordan? It comes from, like, here and kind of crying a little bit, right?
Yeah, he's kind of nasally.
The break in the
have
voice.
To understand.
Well, yeah.
I'm not going to allow it.
Like, no.
Not affirming.
Yeah.
No.
My I go back and I watch this video.
Potential.
Potential.
He says potential.
The one where he's wearing the white shirt and the suspenders, and the protesters are kind of confronting him, and that's what I go back and watch that video. I didn't really care for he talked about Matthew McConaughey giving such a compelling speech, and I was like, dude, come on, man.
Well, he's Canadian. What do you expect?
Right.
Well, that's
he's at the end of the day, he's super.
I like
Canadian.
what he said.
All right, let me tell you, I was in a movie called Contact with Jodie Foster.
Red flag laws.
Yeah. We need red flag. How about that? Did you see that?
How about that? I only watched 2. I couldn't watch much of it.
She was only be able to recognize by the shoes on her feet. So how about that?
Jordan said that he
liked the speech.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, a lot of people, and like you said, he is Canadian. So a lot of people who are just unaware of gun culture and 2A here in America really don't know. And I've said this for a while, that a lot of gun legislation is very slippery slope stuff to absolute tyranny. Because a lot of people talk about like red flag laws. And when you think about it, if you're kind of dumb, oh, that's a good idea. Ty's been saying some crazy stuff. I know he has guns, so we probably should take them away for a little while, have him have a psych evaluation.
Jordan to think that was good and not see where that can lead.
But he might not have.
He might not understand.
He might not understand it, and he might have.
Definitely does.
He might have, because Matthew McConaughey, the first 10 to 13 minutes of that speech was him talking about the victims. So he maybe thought about that and didn't really pay attention to policy. But when you have policy that's introduced like that, who do you think is going to be enforcing that? It could be a neighbor of yours that knows what you think about the vaccine, knows that you've said stuff about Fauci, knows that you
I never said any of that.
Yeah, but
I never said any of it.
Like, imagine me like, listen, 911, I think you guys should come see Ty. He's done Fauci impressions. He has guns. I know
jokes.
this.
No wonder
I think
you
he might
hate
do
the police. You can't. They don't even know what you're saying.
They got. I don't know. 911. Hello. I love how England is 999. That's kind of cool.
Oh, 999.
999.
Interesting. So Jordan put that out.
They call the old bill there. Anyway.
Call it 999.
Yeah. So yeah, Jordan.
Did I send you the Duper's Delight meme of?
Excuse me.
Okay, so it's not a meme. It's probably a 5-second clip of Matthew McConaughey's speech, and he says one of the kids' names, and he looks down and he laughs. And
no, he doesn't.
Someone clips it out, and
Can
they're
you
like,
look
and
that
they
up
call
right
it
now?
Duper's Delight.
Oh no.
And it was, and then the clip zoomed in twice.
Really?
And he looked down.
No way.
Yeah, I mean,
was it a laugh or was it like a
one
cry?
One could argue that it was some sort of cry, but when you look at it, it's like, let me see.
Oh, very weird. Yeah, if you find it, then we can watch
the name. It was a funny name.
A Hispanic name, probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You bigot. Sorry. No, so no favorite film score?
No favorite film scorer.
Is your favorite genre of film? You like comedies?
I don't like labels, okay?
I tell you what, though, I don't like Westerns. Oh, that's funny coming from you.
Westerns? I actually really hadn't seen many Westerns,
really,
if any, before this movie.
So was this
I'm
kind of...
sure I had, but I couldn't tell you. Everyone's shooting off Western. I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So was this guy, like the director we see in Auteur, where he's like, okay, watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Watch this movie. Watch this movie. Watch this movie.
They had us watch one film, I think called Outpost, perhaps.
Okay.
Maybe that was it. It was an Australian Western.
Oh.
Okay, here, watch. It's like 5 seconds.
Let's watch this time. I think that's crying. I don't know. I'll put that in. Can you text that to me just so I can put it in the video?
I don't know. He always seems like a little high, so he may have just.
He does sound a little high.
He's like a giggly guy.
Oh my! But you missed the zoom when they zoom in.
Okay, show me the zoom from
Alethea. I mean, I think it was his name he thought was funny. Alethea.
Really? What a kind of bad moment.
Okay, watch it again. I think it does it twice. It zooms in twice.
It was one of the 19 children that were killed the day before.
I don't know, man.
Alethea. She was one.
And
what do you think?
The caption is Duper's delight. Because he had the fake shoes. Remember the green, and they show the picture of the green Converse. He said they were the exact Converse
he did
that
say
the kids
yes.
wore. That the kid wore, and then they showed a picture of the same girl wearing.
And they were faded.
Yeah,
they
totally.
Were so faded.
Yeah, it's like a totally different pair of green Converse.
Yeah,
I mean, he's wearing sunglasses. You know, he's probably a little high. He's got those half sunglasses on.
Yeah, they're like tinted.
Yeah,
I think it's.
He seemed a little just.
They're puppet strings there. They want him to run for governor. He said he doesn't want to, but they want him to. I think that's why. I think he's going to do it. Yeah.
God, we need the good actors.
You know anyone
favorite
from
genre?
Ohio?
I don't know. I mean, I love comedy, but you could have a good drama with comedy in it too.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it.
You strike me as a Scorsese guy.
Yeah, I like Scorsese. Yeah, I like dark comedies. I think.
Okay. There's a really good Western movie called. Why does this happen? Christian Bale Western.
Prairie.
Christian Bale Hostels.
Okay.
That's a really good movie.
I should go watch some now.
You should.
I've been in one.
Yeah. But your experience with Terror on the we've like talked about it a little bit here and there. Is there anything that that struck you as super memorable? Like, oh, I'll never forget this.
Well, I mean, even just getting the job alone, I booked it from Instagram. So this was after that. Both the agent left me and then the manager said, screw off.
Was it an open casting call or someone was like, hey, can you audition?
It was, I don't know if it was an open casting call. It might have been, but I'm not in that world anymore because I didn't have an agent. So
right.
The Dallas from Bonfire Legend saw his wife showed him my Instagram page and then he started sharing all my videos. And this was like my page blew up, so I had like a few thousand unanswered messages, and I happened to just
really
click on his because he kept sharing them. I was like, all right, I think this guy's like nuts or something. Let me just say thank you.
Yeah. And
he goes, this is gonna sound crazy. Do you want to audition for the new Gina Carano movie? I was like, all right. He goes, all right, I'll email you the script, and I read for it, and like the day later, he made me an offer.
Really?
So
you read some sides.
I read some sides.
They're called sides.
Read some sides.
Pieces of the script are called sides.
And so that was, it gave me a resurgence of like general hope in my career, but also in other people's.
Who's your favorite member of crew? Not person, but just general member of crew on set. Could be a gaffer. Could be an AD. Who was your favorite person on that set?
Probably the makeup artist.
Yeah.
Allie, yeah, she was funny.
You single?
I don't know. I don't mix and mingle on set.
You don't poop where
I'm very business.
Yeah.
I don't poop where I poop.
Yeah. I hope not.
I don't pee where I eat.
Not a good idea, guys.
No,
if you're out there,
I don't
young
think
men,
comedians either. So
don't do it. Women should know better, but guys, don't do it. Okay.
And there's always a lot of that going on.
Oh yeah,
behind the scenes, and it's tempting, but I'm
smart. You're smart.
Yeah. Never dated a comedian.
That's because there's
other than Hannah Gatsby.
Gatsby. Do you like that, or do you think it's kind of like a bit of dude, that old line? There are funny women comedians. There's like one or two.
You gonna insert crickets here?
I've said this to you many times.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to find female stand-up comedians.
Joan Rivers,
funny.
Really?
It's very difficult. I'm not saying this to try to be edgy or like I hate women. I genuinely, I sat through Ali Wong. I've tried Amy Schumer. I've tried all. Have you tried
Natasha Leggero?
I like her. I think she's funny, like not stand-up funny. I think she's.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, look, this is gonna sound crazy, but I thought she was hilarious in the Justin Bieber roast. I thought that was like one of her best bits. But it's very difficult for me to find female stand-up comedians funny. Again, not saying this to try to be edgy, it's just honest.
Yeah. No,
I just have yet to find one.
You're just jealous and insecure. That's fine. We've worked through that in therapy.
It's projection.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Well, nice therapy session
I think here's one of the issues is they're not giving Netflix and these stations, these radio stations, they're not giving people a chance. They're giving it to the people that fit the bill. Obviously, there's some funny ones, but you have to go to the comedy clubs and sort of like seek out really unique, funny men and women. But I see some women at some of these clubs that are really funny, but they're not being given the same chance because they might be more like Ricky Gervais or, you know, kind of not cookie cutter enough.
Would you ever do something like Kill Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd love to see you do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sneak attack Ty Fischer up there. That'd be kind of cool.
Sure.
Do you know the idea of Kill Tony?
No, I don't.
Tony Hinchcliffe has a show every Monday that they do live in Austin where they pick comedians' names out of hats. They go up to the stage and do a minute. And then they kind of like do like a little interview after, like, tell us about yourself. And some people, I mean, it's almost like an open mic, but it can get really awkward really quick.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that.
Oh, no, but just if they're bad.
I know. I've been going through that for so long in the open mics.
Oh, boy.
It's dramatic stuff.
What's the feeling like when you're bombing? What is the feeling like? I'm not saying, I don't know if you've bombed or not. You're funny. I like it, but
you got to bomb.
Right, exactly. It's the way you learn.
You got
do you feel pukey when you bomb?
It depends where you are in your career, in your life. You know, like I went through a breakup last week and got up right on stage and was like dead inside, which was helpful.
You probably killed
because
it.
I just didn't feel anything. So I was able to like really just say what I wanted. So it depends what emotional state you're in.
Yeah.
Just like crying up there.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
But you have to have a lot of comedians are really dramatic about it. It's like you're going to go do it again in 10 minutes and tomorrow and everyone has a bad day at work. I think comedians get a pass for like how tough their life is. It's like you're at work.
Yeah.
You're working for 10 minutes a night or an hour. It's a great job. I think Seinfeld does a good job of like setting comedians straight when they complain.
Oh, really?
It's like, what are you doing? It's the best job. Shut up. What are you talking about?
Do you find that, what is happening? Like, am I having like tiny strokes? Like, I was just about to say something. What were you just saying?
Right, come.
People are what were you saying? Were people too hard on themselves, or what was the last point that you were making? Because I was going to bring up something.
Comedians?
Yeah.
They act like their job is really hard.
Not even that. I was going to say something along the line. Oh, do you think that it's easier for someone who's maybe a damaged person or someone who's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations throughout their lives? Is it easier for them to be funny? Because I know Rogan brings up the point this time. He's like, a lot of the best comedians have had like really tough lives because you can't be funny if you've grown up in a mansion and had a pool all your life or something like that.
Yeah, well, sure, you could. You could,
yeah.
Your dad may have been funny or the pool boy could have been really funny pool boy.
Gardener.
Yeah.
Trained you, you know? I don't know. That's interesting. I'd say knowing comedians, there's a lot of really damaged ones.
Artists in general, I think.
I think it's success in general. I honestly think that people who have had a lot of struggles and a lot of challenges in their life, I think they tend to gravitate towards success.
They want to prove themselves.
Yeah, and they have it's like, you know, it's the hero's journey. You have when you have a lot to fight for, and I think it's especially true for artists, but I think a lot of people in general. Because like some of the most successful people that I know, even outside of art and comedy, they had a really rough upbringing. Yeah. Like really tough.
Yeah, you have to do it to fight through it. I'm envious of the people that maybe just had like a pretty decent life and can just get a sort of regular job and have a family and like not want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
That's the dream to me. Those are celebrities to me.
Yeah.
Like people come up to me on the street sometimes and I'm like, no, I want to know, tell me about why you're so happy with your family right now. That's cool to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people put a lot of, what's the right word, on celebrities, kind of saying that they've got it all together, you know, just on what they outwardly put out there. I mean, celebrities don't put their inner, deepest, most horrifying struggles out in front of the world, but I mean, like everybody's struggling, right? Everybody's fighting something.
Everybody's got demons.
Everybody's got demons.
Absolutely.
Everybody except Freddie. Freddie definitely doesn't have demons.
Guys, listen, go over to Locals, doinggreat.locals.com, because that's where we're about to go with Ty right now, okay?
Take me with you.
Ty said, hey, I want to answer some questions. So that's what we're going to do.
Question.
So thanks, Ty, for coming on. And
Thank
now we're
you.
going to go talk to the people who give us money.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.